This is Rummy's Corner. Coming up on May 18th from the Kingdom Arena in Saudi Arabia, former IBF cruiserweight champion Jai Opetaia will square off against former three-time cruiserweight champion Mairis Briedis. This cruiserweight championship rematch will be featured on the undercard of the mega bout showdown for undisputed heavyweight supremacy between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk, and frankly, this is a terrific matchup for the undercard. The entire situation between Opetaia and Briedis is a bit unusual. These two first met in July 2022, where Briedis was the reigning IBF champion and Opetaia was the undefeated challenger. Opetaia won a 12-round unanimous decision to capture the IBF cruiserweight title. The 39-year-old Briedis has not fought since. The 28-year-old Opetaia, on the other hand, has fought twice since. And most recently, he was featured on the Boxing Day of Reckoning card last December when he faced Ellis Zorro. But in a peculiar move, Opetaia vacated the IBF belt after the IBF refused to sanction the bout against Zorro for not facing their number one mandatory, who just so happened to be Briedis. But Briedis was hurt and was seemingly okay with Opetaia fighting Zorro. But the IBF wasn't having it. Strangely enough, however, the vacant IBF strap will be on the line for the rematch between Opetaia and Briedis. You simply cannot make this stuff up. So Opetaia fought twice last year. He stopped Jordan Thompson in round 4 back in September, and then on the December Boxing Day of Reckoning, he leveled Zorro in the opening round. But the best way to examine this particular clash of styles is by looking back to when they first met, which will be just under 2 years ago by the time the fight happens. Their first bout was both interesting and competitive, and it was a clear case where Opetaia got off to a stronger start and was more effective over the course of the first half of the fight, and Briedis was the one who came on stronger and finished stronger in the later half of the contest, particularly in the championship rounds. Now, after that fight, it was revealed that Opetaia fought much of the fight with a broken jaw, and Briedis fought much of the bout with a broken nose that visibly caused some breathing difficulty. But both guys exhibited tremendous championship heart and a tremendous will to win. Over the first half of the fight, Opetaia was clearly the more fluid of the two, where he had a little more bounce in his step, and he seemed quicker and more eager to pounce whenever he saw an opening he believed he could exploit. Opetaia was doing a thorough job investing downstairs, and he was otherwise doing a terrific job mixing up his offense with a variety of attacks and angles, and often this involved throwing some spirited combinations that were having an impact. Briedis, on the other hand, seemed stiffer throughout the first half of the contest, where he was more methodical and selective and more economical. Although even when Opetaia was clearly doing the better work, Briedis was finding clever ways to land efficiently. In the second half of the contest, Briedis was finding ways to land more often, and he was landing some heavy punches. The action began getting a little scrappier at times, but Briedis was finding more and more ways to consistently sneak in big punches as the fight progressed. There were times in the later rounds where Briedis appeared to have Opetaia hurt, but to his credit, Opetaia absorbed the incoming fire and battled on. Indeed, both boxers showed great durability as each was absorbing a great deal of punishment at various points in the fight. There were a lot of very good exchanges throughout the fight, even when one guy was clearly doing better work in a particular round. So on one hand, you had Briedis getting off to a disappointing start where he was being outworked, outboxed, and outgunned. But he persevered, hung in there, and came on strong toward the end. And on the other hand, you have Opetaia getting off to as good a start as he could have hoped for, before fading later where he was the one being outworked, outboxed, and outgunned. But he too persevered and battled it out to the very end, when Briedis was coming on especially strong. It was a terrific fight and an admirable effort from both warriors. Despite Opetaia winning a unanimous decision, There were dissenting voices out there who believed that Briedis had done enough to win. For my 2 cents, I still cannot shake the idea that Opetaia looked far more fluid, with more bounce in his step, and a greater eagerness to pounce whenever he felt the angles were favorable to attack. I believe that Opetaia has gained confidence from his last 2 wins. And more importantly, Opetaia has at least been more active, which I view as a positive. Especially when you consider that Briedis is now 39 years old and has not fought in nearly 2 years since their first bout. Briedis is 2 years older, whereas Opetaia is fresher and seems to be really hitting his stride here. I think all signs point to another hard-fought battle, but I think the circumstances clearly favor Opetaia. For my official prediction, I am taking Jai Opetaia by a decisive 12-round decision, and I would not be completely surprised if he scores a later round stoppage, although Briedis is tough and durable and has a lot of heart, so I would expect him to make a fight of it until the final bell, where youth and activity will prevail. So I'm taking Opetaia by decision, but as always, what the hell do I know? I ain't exactly Quasimodo over here. But whatever happens, I am truly and sincerely fired up for this one. And I think it's a great bout to be included on the undercard for the historic heavyweight showdown between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk. So who do you think will win between Jai Opetaia and Mairis Briedis? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful night. This is Rummy's Corner.
You know, Quasimodo predicted all this.